All right, what up, y'all? AWB, we're back at it. About to finish up this deposition that we were checking out yesterday. You know, just madness. I'm gonna play. What should I start with? I'm gonna start with playing the video of the actual event of the deposition. So I'm gonna have that. Let me pull that up real quick. Like I said, it's not the. For some reason they haven't. Well, we're not gonna say for some reason, but they haven't released a lot of this body cam footage. It's only clips of it, but I haven't seen the whole thing full through yet. But again, we're dealing with Columbus County Sheriff Department against Bowman. Hold on, let me get the full name. Martinez Bowman. We're gonna check out this footage. Hold on, y'all.
Ending with a police canine mauling the driver. The incident raising a lot of questions.
What they just did, based on their actions, based on the video, based on the reports, they violated every policy that they have.
These are some of the pictures of the driver who was mauled by the police dog. He's 23-year-old Martinez Bowman. His injury is so severe we had to blur the images. News4JAX reporter Eric Avanier is joining us live from outside the law offices of attorney John Phillips.
Eric Phillips is now representing Bowman.
Yes, and he plans to file a lawsuit against the Columbia County Sheriff's Office on the grounds of excessive force that he says his client endured at the hands of that deputy. And according to our crime and safety expert, it's going to be very difficult for the Sheriff's Office to defend the actions of that K-9 deputy.
No. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
You just heard the audio from dashcam video provided to News4JAX from attorney John Phillips. In the video, we hear a Columbia County Sheriff K-9 deputy deploy his dog on 23-year-old Martinez Bowman during a traffic stop over a tail light that was out. Moments prior to the deployment of the dog, Bowman didn't immediately stop, but he did slow down and drove into his driveway, which he says wasn't far from where the deputy got behind him. News4JAX crime and safety expert Ken Jefferson says it's not uncommon for people to do this when they have doubts about the traffic stop or don't feel safe.
It's apparent that he's not trying to elude them or trying to get away from them, but there's chatter among the officers saying he's probably going to run or he may run. So now they've got a preconceived notion of what he's going to do.
Meaning the deputy is already treating this as a felony stop. Remember, this is about a tail light that was out, an offense that typically results in either a citation or a warning.
He stops the car. The officer is giving him commands, and he's having a concern about being shot.
The concern comes from the fact that after his car is stopped, deputies get out of their patrol vehicle with their guns drawn, as seen in this video.
Put your hands out the window! You gonna shoot me?
So I definitely felt like I was gonna die.
Jefferson says when an officer gives you a command during a traffic stop, you should always follow the commands. But he also says this incident was not treated as a typical stop for a tail light that was out, but rather a felony takedown with their guns drawn and a recorded statement by the deputy saying Bowman may try to run.
What made them feel threatened to pull their guns out and try to extract this person out of the car at gunpoint?
The deputy yells at Bowman to walk backward towards him. His hands are up, but Bowman was still allegedly facing the deputy when the K-9 was deployed, causing severe injuries to Bowman's leg that required multiple surgeries.
The compelling question is, was the K-9 necessary to attack this individual? Was he running away? Doesn't appear to be. Was he aggressive towards the officer? Doesn't appear to be.
Now, Jefferson went on to say that based on the video and the offense report that he read, the sheriff's office is going to have to really work hard at trying to restore trust with the community, especially the.
All right. Let's get to the actual deposition. What was it? Hold on, y'all. But yeah, so let me, while I find this, I just had it up. Okay. So that's, y'all just saw what happened. So the sheriff deputy, well, former deputy right now is testifying that he didn't know or didn't see severe wounds in this kid leg. He's saying that he doesn't give his dog the commands that he's supposed to give. He just lets his dog run wild, does whatever it wants, because he believes that the dog knows exactly what he wants it to do. What else is going on with this case? Oh, so this guy got his GED. He says at 16, and has had various jobs between when he first started working to where he's at now. You know, he says he has a trucking company called Blue Line Customs. I think it's something like that. So y'all give me a second. Let me pull this up real quick. But man, here we go. So remember, he's been lying, and you're gonna expect what you expect from him. It's just a good way to see cop psychology, so you're not too thrown off when you encounter one of these people. And the thing is, we want to expect something different than what, you know, because I for some reason I expected something different. But the more that I do this, I can see that this is a common theme. They are very coached in the answers to their questions, and rarely are they ever honest. And when they are honest, it's because they just pure psychopaths and don't care if you know. Because of qualified immunity.
Who is Chris David?
Shift deputy that was on shift with me.
So at the time he was employed by Columbia County Sheriff's Office?
Yes.
Okay. Who is Matthew Montemurno?
Shift deputy that was on shift with me.
So at the time he was employed by Columbia County Sheriff's Office?
Yeah.
Did either one of them respond to this scene?
Who was that?
Chris David or Matthew Montemurno?
No, they didn't.
Monte
Montemurno. Yeah.
Murno. Stephen Kashigan, Khachigan. Who is that?
Kachigan. He's the P.2 for the agency.
And he was at the time of this?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know if he responded to the scene?
I don't think he did.
And what is the PIO?
Public information officer.
And that's you?
That's my daughter.
Oh, well, I meant this is your Facebook page?
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll run through some postings and just kind of try to understand them. Attach these as a composite exhibit after. Presented you with a photo that's dated December 19, 2020. Do you recognize that photo?
Yes.
Who's in it?
Myself and Drago.
Okay. Did you post that on your Facebook page?
Yes.
Present something posted November 11, 2018. What is that?
It is it's a skull of a canine with a blue line on it. It says canine unit.
Where did you obtain this?
I seen it on Facebook.
Okay. And so you just reposted it?
Mm-hmm.
What's the significance of the blue line with the skull?
Police dog.
Okay. Why the skull? Why is it?
I don't know why they made it a skull.
Okay.
I thought it looked cool.
Okay. Another post, September 2, 2015. What is this?
This is a skull with a flag on the front, with a thin blue line flag on the front of it. It says, "Stop shooting at my brother's hers," meaning
you can see the hers in a different color,
right,
just to set it off that it's both.
This is in 2015 when it was such a high. There was a high thing going on with officers being shot. I think it was like the highest at that time, and I seen it online, or I seen it on Facebook, and I shared it.
So at that point in 2015, officers were at kind of heightened alert for officer safety. Is that fair?
They were being shot at,
right,
or they were being shot. I mean, that's the whole "stop shooting at my brothers,"
right?
Meaning my.
And do you know how? Have you heard of George Floyd?
Yes.
And Do you know how long before this incident happened that George Floyd passed away?
No, huh?
And do you know the impact of incidents like George Floyd and other police-involved incidents related to African Americans, what impact that has on African American men?
What, the George Floyd thing?
Yes.
What kind of impact it would have on them?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it was all media. It was all, I mean, it was a big thing on the media.
Okay. But do you know what impact that would have on African American men?
Object to the point.
No.
We're not going to answer that. You don't care. You don't care nothing about that.
Referring to May 25, 2016 post.
Yeah.
What is this one?
Romans 13:4 with a skull with a thin blue line through it.
It's funny. He don't care nothing about that question. But the way that the lawyer asked it made that a funny situation there. But man, he did not care at all. Didn't even. It never crossed his mind.
But for he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for beareth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him. What does that say at the bottom? I don't know.
I don't know either.
This is a biblical verse. I'm a Christian. And
Okay.
I read the Bible.
Okay. Did the Bible's not illustrated, right? The one that God wrote, it doesn't have pictures, right?
No.
Okay. So the photo of the skull with the blue line, that was not biblical. Is that fair?
Yeah. I didn't make this.
Okay. What drew you to this Bible verse with the skull to post it?
To me, it's more or less saying that as my personal being called as a police officer, I feel like that was my calling. I was called by the Lord to be a police officer. The revenger to execute wrath upon him, that's not, that don't mean me executing wrath. That's the court system, and it ain't wrath. It's a court system that an individual has to go through. But I mean, it's no different than in the Bible. It says if your left hand sins, cut off your right hand. We're not cutting off our right hand. It doesn't. It's not literally what it says.
Okay. So you're not sending this message out to suspects that they should be afraid if they do wrong, because you're the minister of God as a law enforcement officer, and you're a revenger to execute wrath.
Object to the point.
I don't think I have any suspects on my Facebook page.
Okay, fair enough. Photo from June 14, 2016. What is this one?
It's looks like a SWAT operator with a thin blue line bandana on his face. They hate the sheepdog until the wolf is at their doorstep.
What does that mean?
In law enforcement, a police officer is labeled as the sheepdog in the law enforcement realm until the wolf is at their doorstep. What that's saying is, like, there's people that hate the police. I mean, that's not no secret. It's media wide. People hate the police and don't want anything to do with the police until somebody has committed a crime against them. Then they want to call the police.
That's what the police are for.
They hate the sheepdog until the wolf is.
But that's what the police are for. What are you talking about? And they get it wrong. They think people don't hate police. It's not that people don't hate police. It's that people hate that it seems like a lot of police officers don't honor their oath. That's what people hate. They don't honor their oath. If they would just honor their oath, I think most people wouldn't hate them. Now, when you dealing with, I guess he talked wolves are the people who live life on the street. And that's a different, those are different type of people. And not, I want to put this. Criminals know that the police are that are actually their enemy, because police are supposed to be trying to catch criminals. Now, the reason regular citizens have issues with police is because police are treating regular everyday people like criminals. They just treat everybody like criminals. And that's the problem that they have. They don't understand that. And they don't understand that by them not respecting our rights and just violating us left and right, if they didn't do that, people wouldn't hate them as much, because why would you? They would be doing their job. It's the fact that they don't do their job, or they do their job as such a incompetent, way that, who would actually respect them? Everybody that I usually hear from when they talk about police, they have had a bad experience. They may have had some good experiences, but it's mostly bad experiences. And everybody who had these experiences, most of them aren't criminals or never been criminals, but they treat everybody like criminals, even if, and say somebody was a criminal before, but they have learned and decided not to live that life anymore, they will treat them the same way or worse, because they know that they have that they know that they already have trauma from dealing with the police previously. So just I don't know, man. This is crazy. This guy, it just shows you everything you need to know.
Is at their doorsteps, and meaning when that crime is committed against them, then they call for the police.
Okay. Was Bowman the sheepdog or the wolf?
Object to the form. Bowman was a suspect.
Okay, fair enough. Sometimes Facebook doesn't put the date because it just tells you how many days ago it was. So we'd have to go look at the data. But do you recall this photo?
I remember when this was, because we go to Camp Blandon once a year in February. So I don't know the exact date, but we go to Camp Blandon once a year for 3-day training with Alachua Sheriff's Office.
Okay. Who's Matthew Waddington?
He was another canine handler with me.
Who was Chris David again?
The guy that works, or another deputy that works with me.
Okay. Let me borrow that as my copy too. And I guess that's memorializing that first page when Drago passed away.
Yes.
Okay. The next 2 pages, and I'll give it back to you. There's an exchange of messages related to that post. Here, I'll let you review those.
Okay.
Let me see it again, please. Who was Rebecca Miller? Do you know?
Who?
Rebecca Miller, the first person?
I have no idea.
Okay. And then is that your post?
Mm-hmm.
What did it? What did
Yes,
you say?
Okay, which one are you referring
The
to?
midway through on page 2,
Where it says
David Harvey.
David Harvey?
What did you say?
Says, remember Drago was fresh from the kennel and we thought our new corporal was going to make a huge deal about it and we might have to do a report. Laugh emojis.
Okay.
What?
Is that referring to the incident you told me about?
No, this is when I first got out. I forgot about that actually. This is the first, when I first got Drago, and the doing the report thing was a joking. That's why the laugh emojis are there. But I had the dog out on a lead. It was the bonding period that I explained to you earlier, and the associating with the other deputies. Well, the dog was just moving around, and this was before training. So he has no training whatsoever, and neither do I. It's just the bonding period. Me and the deputy was standing side by side, and we were talking and laughing. And the deputy, I believe the deputy is, if you're conversating with your buddy, ha 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 ha, and hit me on the shoulder, the dog seen that, and the dog run up to him and started sniffing him and sniffed him up and nipped him on his arm. By the time I grabbed him, he had nipped him on the arm.
Okay.
And the doing the report thing was joking because Blaine Cruz was a deputy together with us before he got promoted to corporal, and Deputy Cruz was there. So it wasn't nothing that should have been reported. I mean, you probably could have reported it if he wanted to, but I don't think it was nothing to be reporting.
The protocol requires a bite to be reported.
Well, we didn't consider when we consider it.
They not.
I guess to you, a nip and a bite would be the same thing, right?
What's the difference?
A bite is grabbing a hold and causing an injury. This is the way I looked at it. But he nipped him when I grabbed him. The supervisor was there.
Okay. Who was the new corporal?
That's the Blaine Cruz.
Blaine Cruz. And Blaine jokes back that the victim didn't want a report filed.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So this incident with Chris David was not reported?
It was reported to the corporal.
Okay, who was there? And okay. And then I think you made a joke at the end on the page 3. He was mouth hugging you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yes.
joke.
Yes, it was
Okay.
a joke.
Attach that as composite. January 15th post. Would you read that and explain that one to me, please?
7 days out of this patrol car for some mind recalibration got me motivated to do some hood rat things with my hood rat friends. Chris, let's get it, dude. Have you ever seen, maybe you haven't, there's a YouTube video with a kid who steals his grandma or mom's car, and it's a viral video, and the news media asked him why he does it, and he said, because I wanted to do some hood rat things with my hood rat friends. So I was quoting what that had said.
It's an African-American kid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
How you gonna
What did you mean, even quoting a viral video, what did you mean that you were in this statement?
Let's go get with me and my friend, which is the deputy, let's go do some proactive police work.
what?
Proactive, what is proactive police work?
Meaning you're driving around in neighborhoods and proactive preventing crimes of occurring, doing traffic stops, middle of the night, just doing preventative activities, proactive,
So
being proactive.
why would that be compared to hood rat things with your hood rat friends?
Object to the form.
No.
Because that was it was a quote from somebody else that I thought was a funny quote.
Okay. But you admitted that kid in the video was in the process, or it was talking about committing crime, right?
His was talking about crime. Mine was talking about preventing crime.
Okay. What's the significance of the YouTube video that was attached?
That's I listen to rap music, and that's a song by Kevin Gates that I like.
What's it called?
Big Gangster.
Okay.
It says it on the poster.
I'm going to the next page. Who is Adam Dees, Deas?
He's a friend I grew up with that lives in Tennessee.
Okay.
Is this what you're referring to as the joking thing?
I mean, I think we discussed one of the joking things already.
Huh?
I think we discussed the joking thing and that other one about the bite.
Oh, okay.
Here, I believe this is, maybe it's not. You say on D's streets in my patrol car.
Yes.
Are you familiar with what urban slang is, or ebonics, or things like that?
Ebonics?
Yeah. Street language.
I assume.
Here's what I'm trying to understand. Let me just boil it down. I've deposed you for about an hour and a half. No, 2.5 hours. And I haven't heard you use slang like D streets. So what I'm trying to understand is why on Facebook do you use words like hood rat friends and D streets and not in regular conversation?
Object to the form.
Well, is it illegal to use any language I want to use?
Absolutely not.
So I can use any language I want to. I mean, I don't see a significance of quoting a YouTube term or a YouTube statement or using these words. Are they specified to one person?
On December 23, 2017, and I may only have one copy of this one, unless it's the next page. I'm going to text you.
Oh, yeah, it's on the back here.
Yeah, there it is. Did you post this as a profile photo?
Yeah.
Is that you?
No, that ain't me.
Why'd you post that picture?
Because I thought it was funny.
Okay. Where'd you find that photo?
It was it was on Facebook.
Okay. Does it appear to be a black woman? African-American woman?
I thought it was African-American man.
Okay. I just see her.
Maybe not.
I guess it could be either way. And then is there one more photo? Is that it? No, that one. Is this a photo you posted?
Yes.
And what does it depict?
It's depicting a training exercise where I have control of the dog without, it was a new exercise that I trained him on to where you could, because I was on SWAT team too. So sometimes during SWAT, during a entry, you'll take the dog in with you. I had trained the dog to be able to, I could call him from the vehicle without a leash on, and I would tell him to foos. And my stance, he knew that when he come to me, he would plots down under my feet. In a scenario that we were approaching a home or we were approaching to enter a home or something, that dog, I could say foos. And that dog would crawl between my legs with me being able to hold my weapon in my hand, and he would go with me. So I could actually go into a house, clear a room with him between my legs, follow me through the room, clearing the room. And then just say that in a scenario that you open the door and then there's a bad guy there, the dog, without me having to use lethal force, the dog could use non-lethal force by apprehending that subject.
Okay. Let me see that text message. The Kip text message you sent me.
So that doesn't really make too much sense when you really think about it, because if it's a case where you wouldn't have there's somebody in there and you wouldn't have to use lethal force. What do you mean? If they had a weapon, the dog is not going to stop you from shooting at that person or anything like that. But if somebody doesn't have a weapon, why would you have to use lethal force to apprehend that person? So when they say stuff like that, when you really listen and think about it, you realize their mindset is just crazy. It makes the way that they're drilled to think this way is what is going on in the training.
What does that beast mode mean?
I look at that. It's just a term used for, say, a level of you're good at something. You're good at something, then beast mode would be, if there was a score of 1 to 10, beast mode is 1. We're in beast mode. We're good at what we're doing right here.
Okay. This was was this during an exercise this photo was taken, or was this posed?
No, this was during an exercise.
Okay. I think that's all for photo show and tell. Let me mark that as plaintiff's composite 4. And we can take a break or press on.
Yeah, my bladder is going into kidney stones.
The time is 12:33 p.m. This is the beginning of video 3. The time is 12:42 p.m. We're on the record.
Mr. Harvey, this is going to be kind of the speed round, not meaning we're going to go faster, but things are probably not going to be as in order, right? I'm just going to ask questions and we'll try to get through them. But the good news is that's usually right as I'm completing. And I'll be doing some reading and mental edits while we're doing this, so just bear with me. Other than driving without observable taillights, at any point did you see Mr. Bowman driving erratically?
Erratically?
Yes.
Not erratically, no.
Okay. Did he swerve?
No.
Did his vehicle strike anything?
No.
Did he throw anything out the window that you observed?
Not that I know of.
Do you know where he ultimately came to a stop?
In front of a double-wide trailer.
Right. Do you know who owned that trailer?
I don't know who owns it, no.
Okay. Did you run his tag?
I think she was in the process of running the tag because I told her to go ahead and run it.
Okay. Do you know if it came back with a match to the address he was going to?
I have no idea of that.
Okay. At the time, did you, or I guess until this scene ended, did you ever find out whose vehicle it was?
I believe it was his mom's vehicle.
Okay.
I don't know I don't know her name or who she is. I just think what I've gathered, it was his mom's vehicle.
For Drago, there was no verbal command to release or apprehend. You just let go of his collar or his leash.
Let's take it to the farm.
That's what I did. When I gave the subject the last warning to comply and he didn't, I let go of the either the collar or the leash, and the dog went straight to him.
Okay. Was there any, and there was no order to stop the apprehension?
No, I would have told him Drago Foos back to me if I didn't want him to make the apprehension.
Did you tell him Foos at the end? How did Drago come to stop?
When I got him handcuffed, I'll grab Drago by the collar, and Drago knows everything's repetitive with a dog. Once you've done something so many times, say on the decoy apprehension or bite, whatever you want to call it, during training, when you grab that dog, he will let go of it.
Okay. When you said K99999, you were saying N-I-N-E, not N-E-I-N. Does that make sense? So are you aware of how the 9 command is spelled?
No.
Okay. What did you mean when you yelled 99999?
I put K9 in front of that, meaning I'd already said Sheriff's Office K9, Sheriff's Office K9. And when I released it, K99, he's coming, telling the subject that he's coming to you.
Okay.
Is just in the same instance of a taser. It's what come to my mind whenever I released the dog, and it just ran on.
Okay.
The dog didn't run on. I in my mind, what I was speaking just ran on my words.
How did you respond to Bowman's pleads for help or to get the dog off of him?
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. I can't remember the exact words, but the dog's not going to be released until you put your hands behind your back. And I know that you can't reach for anything if you have something on you. That's the purpose of the apprehension. The dog has made the apprehension. Therefore, when I get there, which I ran straight up there after the dog took him to the ground, I ran straight up there and had to force his hands behind his back. Once the hands were forced behind his back, and I removed the dog from him.
Did you ever attempt to instruct Bowman to walk towards the other deputy?
I don't remember that.
Okay. Did you ask Bowman if he had a weapon at any point?
I don't remember that either.
Are you aware of any other nips or mouth hugs that Drago did that wasn't reported?
Object to the floor.
A mouth hug is Drago does that, would do that to me. Mouth hug. That means he's playing and he's just, he's not biting. He's just, I don't know if you have dogs or whatever, but when dogs play, they're not biting you, but they're putting their full mouth around you.
Fair enough.
What a mouth hug is.
And that's different than a nip, right?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. And maybe I just got lost in the joke, but let me just ask the question about nips. Are there any other nips or bites that you're aware of that weren't reported per policy?
No, not that I can remember.
What is tunnel vision?
I'd say it was you get in a high stress situation and that's the only thing you're focusing on. Sometimes law enforcement officers can get into that tunnel vision and then not be, you lose sight of what's going on around you other than what you're directly focused on at that time. But just the totality of the whole circumstance was stressful. I mean, it was stressful on both ends with me, and I'm sure him too. When you're in a situation like that, it's going to be stressful. It's not a calm, normal, common day conducting police work. When you get into a situation that revolved around.
What's your training on de-escalation techniques?
We had some de-escalation training, and I think it was on that Police One website or something like that. But you're supposed to try to de-escalate a situation. Nobody wants the situation to escalate to something that it's not, that it don't have to be. So we're trained to try to de-escalate a situation after you've gained control of the situation. Once you've gained control of the situation, you can start bringing your tone level down. You can start trying to talk to the individual. If we're referring to this specific thing, that didn't even occur because it stayed at a high, already escalated situation. I couldn't gain control of the situation because the subject wouldn't comply with what I was telling him to do.
Is it your understanding of policy and procedure that de-escalation procedures only are to occur after you have control?
I have no idea about that.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Well, you've referred to the fact that you weren't going to begin de-escalation until you had control. Fair?
Yes, I had to gain control of the situation.
Okay. Did you try using de-escalation techniques to gain control?
I done what I was trained to do during a felony traffic stop, and that was to give that subject orders to comply with everything that I'm telling him to do, so we could de-escalate down to bringing him to the back, finding out, dude, why'd you not stop? And the arrest probably wouldn't have even occurred that day. None of that would have occurred that day if I could have got him to come into compliance and do everything. Just because you conducted a felony traffic stop don't mean this guy's got to go to jail. But it escalated to it went to a whole different way of we having to apprehend him to get him to come into compliance.
And the basis of this being a felony traffic stop was your view that this was fleeing.
Was a refusal to stop, yes.
Okay. Even though we've gone through regulations that talk about not pulling somebody over where lighting isn't sufficient, roadway isn't sufficient, you may be blocking driveways, you may be blocking a roadway.
Are you trying to say that you've explained all of that to me, and that after you've explained that to me, I shouldn't be feeling that this was a pursuit or a failure to stop or a fleeing? No, I'm still at that what occurred is what occurred.
Okay.
He basically said he's standing on what he said, but the lawyer is just asking questions. He's not trying to get him to say, you just want answers to the question. That's it.
Even though a jury said what occurred wasn't what occurred.
A jury can find somebody not guilty, even if they committed a crime. I explained that earlier.
Okay. Yeah, and you referenced O.J. Simpson, I think, and Casey Anthony.
Yes.
Are you trying to compare Mr. Bowman to
No,
murderers,
I explained to you that a jury can find someone not guilty, even if they were guilty. Has nothing to do with comparing the crime.
Okay, let me object to this point. We're not going to badger the witness. He's already answered those questions. You can move on to something else.
I resent that because I was not.
No, you're being argumentative with him in those last few questions there. So continue asking the questions you have, but let's not be argumentative, and you will not be badgering the witness.
The beauty of video. Did you arrest Mr. Bowman?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Mr. Bowman was arrested on scene. He was transported to the hospital. Upon arrival at the hospital, he refused to let the doctors tend to his wound from the apprehension. During that time, the jail will not take somebody into the jail with a injury on them. So therefore, after being there, the time we were there, and him refusing to let doctor fix up his wound, I called the sergeant and advised the sergeant what was going on there, and told the sergeant what we could do is, since I didn't find no prior record on him, so we know who he is, we know where he lives at. We got all of his information, so we can allow him to be released here so he can go get, because maybe he wouldn't let us do it because we were there. I don't know, but he would not let he would not let medical treat his wound. So we can release him from here and file a warrant for his arrest for the state attorneys to pick up a warrant, and we pick him up at a later date whenever he's got taken care of his wound.
Okay, what was he under arrest for?
Fleeing and eluding, resisting without violence, and the last one I charged was with DUI.
Do you have training related to how canines respond to aggression in their environment?
I don't know what you have to explain that. I don't know what you're saying.
Okay. Do you know how dogs react to stressful situations?
All I can tell you is what I was trained and what the dog under my command does, or during. There wasn't a specific stress related training that I can remember given over different scenario or different occasions. I don't know.
Did you have a dog before Drago?
No.
Did you have a dog since?
No.
So it's the only dog you've ever
Yes.
had custody of?
Yes.
Okay.
You're not a dog.
Silly question. Have you ever had any training in German?
No, I talked about that earlier.
We've been provided with a chart or a spreadsheet. It's at Columbia Bowman 003289. Yeah.
What is this?
That's what I'm asking him. We were provided by y'all.
It's the deployment logs for Jordan.
Do you know what this is?
I think this is from our from the system, the canine deployment system thing that we use.
Okay. How is it that you enter data that goes into that spreadsheet?
Oh, I don't know how it goes into the
Okay,
spreadsheet.
fair
I ain't never even printed a spreadsheet out.
Okay. Have you ever seen that document before?
Uh-uh.
Okay. Borrow it again. Yeah. Let me just borrow yours. Date, I understand, right?
Who?
Date, up at the top. Creator, I think I understand. Location, I think I understand. City, state, agency. The other blocks, and the last 4 blocks particularly, do you know what those are?
Object to the form.
I don't know what that number. I haven't seen this in so long that I don't know what. I think that might be use of force. Maybe it's use of something. I don't know if it's force or what it is.
Okay.
The C. I don't know the hours. A lot of these entries are training entries for. That's how much time the dog was in training, and most of them are during shift. That's all I know.
Maybe that's what call is, that if they're, and we're just kind of speculating together, I realize, but maybe the C is call, because hers shows call and hers say true or false. So I'm wondering if the falses are training exercises.
I can't remember how that thing goes. It's been a year and a half since I even looked at it.
How many bite apprehensions has Drago done with you as his handler?
Over a 4-year period, maybe bite itself. Now, because you can have a non-bite apprehension too, which is whoever you showed the force of the canine. That means they complied, so you didn't have to have a bite, but it's still considered as an apprehension because they complied with the showing of the force of the dog. But the physical apprehension itself, I don't remember all of them. I'm just going to give you a number. I think maybe over a 4-year period, maybe 6 or 7.
There was one I've seen where, and I want to see if it's Drago, where there was somebody running at or by an interstate. Do you remember that one? There was like somebody that walked.
I need a little bit more.
Okay.
I just need a little bit more information.
Yeah, I think there was somebody running or walking on the interstate.
And the dog was deployed?
And the dog was deployed.
For a bite?
Yes.
Yeah, that happened. Well, I don't remember when that happened, but the subject had fought. The Lake City PD made contact with that guy, and he tried to arrest him. And I was pulling up, and they began to physically fight. And the guy got away from the Lake City PD officer and ran down the side of the interstate.
Okay, and then Drago was deployed and helped secure.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what commands were given in that incident?
I don't know. Okay. That's been so long ago.
Have you seen we have body camera of that? We should look at that and look and see what the commands were there. Do we have this as a spreadsheet?
We asked for it.
Because I need to expand the, yeah. I'm going to reserve, probably over objection, to question you about the spreadsheet when we have one that we can actually see what's the information. Just so that I can actually see who and what, because do you know this document well enough that you can testify without seeing the full document?
No.
Okay.
And we would object to you reserving, calling him back for that.
Fair enough. This stack.
There was something on that document she wanted me to ask about. Do you remember? Yeah.
Mine is longer than yours.
That incident?
That's the problem. I can't read it. Do you remember an incident? Hold on. Let me find it on here. Yeah, but mine's different. This is different. 32. I pick up at 3289. I think it's the trues we need to look for. Because I think he might be right that, or I'm kind of talking to myself on the record, but that the falses are training exercises.
'84?
Yeah, that's why. But then I go 85, and then I skip 86, 87, 88. 86, 87, 88? Okay. All right, I think I know where you're going to answer this. But in this document, labeled Columbia Brown 003384, that we've been referring to, that first line.
Is that the same document you showed me?
It is. That first line that has true at the top. Do you know, it says Tower Road in the something. Does that refresh your recollection?
Let me think of. I believe Tower, this is one, if this is the one that I'm thinking of, Tower Road is out in the forest, and that was probably a SWAT call out where a individual had shot at officers, and he ran into the forest and was down behind a tree. SWAT operators formed, moved forward into the with shields and everything, moved forward into the woods, because you could see the subject out there because the palmettos were only so high, so you could see him over there. So all SWAT operators, I was the canine handler on that call. We moved into the woods, and I had a 50-foot lead. So we gave the subject multiple orders to surrender, come out. He never would. Therefore, we sent the dog for apprehension, and the dog apprehended the subject.
Okay.
He ended up being dead because he shot himself. But we weren't aware of that.
The other,
if that's the case.
Right, that's the problem. The other true false I see happened at 302 Gerson Street on October 23rd. I think that's Mr.
Was that the day?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I have that one. It's 3289 on bait stamp 3289. What I don't see, and I know this is almost unfair of you asking you about a form you don't know, but this is the best I got. I got to figure out something.
I mean, this is just entries.
Right.
And you see how many entries is in there. So I couldn't tell you what every entry unless I remember.
I'm concerned. The ones I want to look at are the ones that are under use of force, what we think is use of force. And I only see those two as true. What's your training related to doing use of force reports when it's canine use of force?
Everything that what the dog deploys is documented there, but you'll on a use of force you'll complete a whole the report. I don't think there's a second. Oh, well, in that system, in that report system, there is a use of force tab in that report system. So you would go into that use of force tab and document the entire use of force. And then I guess I don't know if it goes into the system or it goes into the report or what it does.
Okay.
But it's reported.
Do you know how many you've done? How many use of force reports you filled out related to canine Drago?
No, I don't know how many there were.
More than 10?
I haven't
That's
idea.
on.
Okay. I think we've at least identified 3, right? The Bowman incident, the interstate incident, and the forest incident.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any more that you specifically recall?
There was one I remember was it was in the city, Lake City, and a guy had a felony domestic, and he was seen running behind the house. They called me for a search, area search. As we conducted the area search, he was next to the door and a grill, and he had taken the grill cover and stuck it over him and squatted down, and the dog found him there. So, and that was an apprehension. But
was there physical contact with the canine for that one?
He bit. He had apprehension.
Okay.
I
don't know if he could get to him through the grill cover. I didn't. Yeah.
Well, his feet were hanging out the bottom. He was squatted down. I mean, the grill cover didn't go all the way. And then when he felt the dog coming, he got out of that grill cover and tried to enter into the house.
Sounds like a cartoon. Any others you can think of?
No, that's the one that comes to mind. The ones we've already talked about.
Use of force reports, regardless of the nature of force against you, or misconduct claims against you. That's my next subject header. I only know of the one that's the domestic relations. Are there any others?
Object to the floor.
Any claims of civil rights have there been any others? Have there been any claims of civil rights violations or improper use of force against you as an officer?
Has there been any?
Yes.
I don't know if are you referring to the domestic violence thing with the guy?
I know about that one, so I'm not worried. Like that one.
That's the only one that I if that was a civil rights allegation, that's the only one that I could.
And that was my inarticulate question at this point.
That's the only
4 hours in.
If that is it, that's the only thing that I could think of that would be that.
Okay. The Alachua County Sheriff's Office Canine Unit Basic Team Training Course. I'm just going to hold up the cover. Do you recognize this?
I trained 6 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know if they give us that or not.
Okay. Referencing Bait Stamps 005396. Are you aware of training that states canine handlers should exhaust all reasonable means to effect an arrest without incurring a dog bite?
Is that in the policy, or is that a policy?
I'm just asking you if that's what you were
I'd
trained.
have to read that. I haven't read that stuff in so long. I don't
Okay.
know what all this is.
Do you know if it's the standard that you're supposed to use that canine handlers should exhaust all reasonable means to effect an arrest without incurring a dog bite?
Object to the form.
Sounds like common sense.
Okay. Almost done. Once you let go of the collar or the what'd you call it that Drago might have been on that
Traffic lead.
the lead. Once you let go of the collar or the lead, is there you have no further touch or control, physical touch or control of Drago, right? It's not like a long leash that you have. Okay.
I mean, unless that, just like I told you, the guy who shot at law enforcement, he stayed out because that guy, it was 50 feet.
Okay.
Didn't want him. I didn't want to get, I kept hold of him in case the guy tried to grab him or something. But he wasn't alive. So.
At what point did Mr. Bowman surrender?
Surrender?
Yeah.
If you call surrendering as in became compliance when I got the handcuffs on him finally.
Okay. And it was after that you released you pulled
Yes,
the dog
sir.
away? Okay. Kid found some good stuff, or somebody found some good stuff in this binder. Amy, what other questions do you have? And I'm going to ask them, but. Be sure to go into the video. I'd rather save that for later. Is there anything else? Let's take a quick break and we'll finish
Certainly.
up.
Okay, time off the
Still
record,
within-
1:20 p.m. We're back on the record. The time is 1:24 p.m.
Have you heard officers in your unit, if I say the N-word, I'm referring to the word spelled Nigger, okay? Have you heard officers at Columbia County Sheriff's Office use that word to refer to anyone?
Object to the form.
Okay. Is there any information you can provide or that you're aware of about racism within Columbia County Sheriff's Office?
Object to the form, totally irrelevant to the case.
No.
Why were you policing that particular area on that day?
I believe that was my zone.
Okay.
And that which would have been zone 1. I believe now, it's been so long ago, but I believe that was my zone, so we were patrolling through there.
Did you have your firearm or taser pointed at Mr. Bowman during this encounter?
Taser.
Okay.
Because it was less lethal, and she had lethal on him. That's what the red dot was. He's talking about the red dot.
How far would your taser fire?
It's on. I think it only reaches 25 feet, and that was the issue that I ran into. When you deploy a taser and a person sees that red dot, usually they're 99% of the time they don't want to be tased, so they become compliant. And it's just more. You hope that it's more of a show than you having to use it every time. But he was so far away, I didn't think that the barbs would reach him.
Okay. You were under lethal cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you move forward to a range within the taser?
But come out from behind cover where I was at and just go up there and no. Because I wasn't putting myself in that position.
Okay.
I had a door covering me.
Okay.
So I wasn't coming out from behind that door, not knowing what could have been there, what he could have had.
Okay. And you also had an officer with lethal force pointed.
Yes.
Okay. Were you reprimanded, demoted, or terminated in any way related to this incident?
No.
Of course not.
When's the last time you saw Mr. Bowman?
The night of that
incident?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't
Yes.
hear you finish the sentence. I just want to make sure the record.
Oh, yeah, the night of that incident.
Okay, fair enough. Anything else, Amy? I'm going to continue to reserve on the form that we don't have.
And we'll continue to object.
Fair. Other than that, thank you for your time and for your former service. I appreciate you.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions for you. In reference to the precision immobilization technique referred to as the PIT technique,
Yes, ma'am.
you were asked several questions by Mr. Phillips in regards to that technique.
Yes.
Let's make certain the record is clear. Did you perform the PIT maneuver on the night of Mr. Bowman's arrest?
No, no.
Okay. Also, Mr. Phillips asked you several questions about using the public address system or the PA system on your vehicle. And you say you did not use that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there any issue with Mr. Bowman hearing your commands that you were stating to him?
No, ma'am. I don't know if he had any medical issues or whatever, but I don't think I was loud enough. And the way that I was trained to call verbally was so if there's anybody in the area that can hear, I'm loud enough that I yell loud enough that anybody around could hear in case that we got to get witness statements from other people to say what they saw or anything like that. I mean, I was loud enough that the girls inside that vehicle were hollering, telling him to do what I was saying. And I could hear them in there telling that.
And that's my next question. Could you hear what Mr. Bowman was saying to you?
Yes.
Okay. Could you hear what the other, the passengers in the vehicle were saying to Mr. Bowman?
Yes.
Okay. So there was no issue of whether Mr. Bowman could hear the commands that you gave him?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Read or wave?
If this is typed up, you have the option to read it for accuracy, or you can waive it. I suggest you read it.
Okay.
And we will coordinate getting that to you. If Mr. Phillips orders it, we'll get a copy.
Okay.
But we'll have you read it for any corrections you need to make in the record, okay?
All right.
Okay, this concludes the video recorded deposition of David Harvey. The time is 1:30 p.m.
All right. So what y'all think about that? He basically showing you that that's the training they get. All that he is referring to in his mind as far as answering the questions or even processing the question is from his training. Yeah, so he has no real awareness outside of his training. Yeah, the thing about it is that he told lies, but he also told the truth. And he placed his truth on his training. Even the words that he was using were training based words. Like instead of all he kept saying is he apprehended the suspect, or he wanted to gain compliance. He's saying that word specifically instead of they say they need to control the situation, then they need to gain compliance, and then they apprehend, and that's when they decide that's the time to start de-escalating after that point. But anything before that point, they're going to escalate so they can gain control. And that's where de-escalation starts, after they have apprehended you. If you really listen to what he's saying, and you can get an idea of the mindset and the training that they have, so you know what to expect when you go out there. When you go out there and you experience them, know that in their mind they are trying to gain compliance. They want to control the situation, gain compliance, then apprehend you, or violate your amendment so they can find out who you are. That's almost like apprehending you, because a lot of times they detain you to try to get you to reveal that. Yeah, that's it. He feels he's going to use his voice to control. So they want you thinking that they are elevating the situation, so you fear what's going to happen next. And then that's how they gain compliance. And after they have apprehended you, now they de-escalate. There's no de-escalation before that. And he's told us that in his training. In this video, it testified to it. He, in so many words, that's what I got from this. What did y'all get from the psychology of this officer from watching this deposition? What did you get from that? And what do y'all think about my thoughts on that? That's what I concluded from this. Accountability to them is paying settlements from our accounts, pretty much. Hey, we here to help y'all. We messed up trying to help y'all, so y'all got to pay for it. Man, even though we don't listen to what y'all say, y'all being the citizens. Yeah, we're here to protect you. Mitch say he's set in his ways and nothing is gonna change him. He knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah, he feels like he did his job by following the training versus, doing any higher level thinking to handle that situation. He's coming in hot every time. He's that officer who pulls you over and just is, why you so nervous? Like, but that's after he's screaming at you. You heard that the lawyer asked him, why didn't he tell Bowman that he wasn't going to shoot him? Because that is what Bowman said he was afraid of. He said, what you gonna do? You gonna shoot me? You gonna shoot me? Or something along that lines. And yeah, he had plenty of opportunity to try to de-escalate that situation, but he gave no de-escalating orders. All his orders escalate situation. And I understand that they have to follow a certain protocol, but you got to know why would you treat that like a felony traffic stop when you know it wasn't a felony traffic stop? That's the whole thing here. They say they treated it like a felony traffic stop, like they knew the person in that car was armed or something, or they knew that person committed a crime already. No crime had been committed. All that happened was there was an infraction. His tail light wasn't working. He was getting pulled over for no tail light, and he slowly pulled to where he lived and made a right, put his blinker on to let them know, like, hey, I'm turning here. And they still saw that as him running away from them. That's how they reacted to this traffic stop, which is excessive. So it's pretty, if that's not textbook excessive force, they made a mistake. But the reason he's not liable for that mistake is because that's how they trained him. He fell back on what he knew. They train them to be tyrants. They don't, that's a lot of that is tyrant training, because you're teaching somebody how to go out there and exert their authority over somebody. That's what they're going to train. That's what they train them for. So you got to understand the mindset of somebody who, is taught that And depending on their psychology before they got that training, that determines how it's going to be used. But all of this should be, the first thing that they should start doing is following the oath and honoring the oath that they took. So they need to actually know what the Constitution is, and not just know what it is, but respect it and know the rights upheld by it. And not just the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Really, the Bill of Rights. Yeah. Yeah, man. You just got to know that when you dealing with them, know that you're not really dealing with a person operating outside of a program. They are acting within a program. That's why, that's why the movie RoboCop was so, it really told you what was going on. And, they really was telling you what was going on right there. You just had to really kind of pay attention to that movie. But RoboCop pretty much, so especially when the guy actually, got put into the suit or turned into it, and they had to make him a better cop. They would turn down his empathy and everything like that, and just have him straight on follow orders mode. And you could see, what was going. You could see what was going on there, and it took him remembering his family and stuff like that to, not lose himself all the way. But a lot of them lose their self all the way into it. Or it was really them already. Either way is bad for us, the citizens. Yeah. Mitch, that's why I say some are just, born, they be psychopath for real. Some don't be right. And then they, that's the perfect place for that, that's the perfect place for that person. Okay, you can pretty much be as crazy as you want to be, because you have to be a certain level of crazy to gain control over somebody anyway. So then you get qualified immunity, and if you do something, chances are you're gonna get you just gonna get a paid vacation. So you're gonna get to chill and relax and get paid for that. You could ride around, wreck your car over and over again because it's a city car, and it's not your car, it's the city car. So the city has to pay for the repairs. You just it's it's so many. If you were a psychopath, why wouldn't you choose that? That's the job for you. Then you have some people who actually want to protect other people, but those are rare, and those are the ones who they forced to lead a department. They can't have somebody that's too clean, because then that person is gonna take down the operation. Yeah, Sean. Yeah. If you it's so much misinformation out there. Misinformation is what it's misinformation is how stories get propaganda is real. I'm gonna say that propaganda and spinning a certain narrative is real. And if you don't have something going against that narrative, you know, you know, they'll sell you the narrative that officer safety is, so important. Then you have people like, yeah, you're right. Officer safety, that guy got to get home to his family. Yeah, true. But when you pick a job where you're going out into a situation that's life threatening, possibly, because most of the time it's not gonna be that, because you already and you prepare for every situation. You get to go around with your gun on your hip all day, every day. What would you be afraid of? And not only do you walk around with your gun on your hip all day long, you practice shooting. You get paid to practice to shoot. You got other weapons. You got a taser. You got cuffs. You got all type of gadgets on your utility belt. What? How would you walk around in so much fear? Scared of the people who can't walk around like that. You already have a better chance and better reaction speed because your gun is on your hip. Anybody else who is concealing something, they have to pull it out from somewhere. They don't have, like, they already got the upper hand. They want the upper hand on upper hand on upper hand. They want to have the upper hand on firepower, and they want to start off yelling at you. So that they got, like, it's crazy. All of this and people supporting officer safety and forgetting that they're the most safe. They're the most safe. Y'all ever think about that? Like, they're the most safe. They get to walk around with their gun on their hip and they have backup. How could you not feel safe? How could you not? And you're trained, and you get to train on shooting every single day. Not well, let me not say every single day. I don't know how often, but I know they get paid to practice shooting. So it just depends on how often they want to do it or something like that. I don't know how it goes, completely but I think that's something like how it would work. Because why wouldn't they want them to practice? Like, come on. Right. So I'm saying, and North Korea real propaganda ain't got nothing on American propaganda. North Korea restricts the amount of information civilians are exposed to. That's why it works better there. But we free to seek information. Exactly. They can't do that. You know what's crazy about I was looking at a documentary on North Korea, and their media is so one way. If the news is out and they catch you not looking a certain way, they'll come see about you. Like if they telling the story to where everything's so great and you not smiling, or if they are having an event that's sad and you really don't care, but if they catch you on camera and you don't look sad or you look like happy that something happened that you're not supposed to be happy about, based on what they feel, they're gonna come see about you. Like North Korea is crazy. The people still have all the power, but they haven't woken up to it. They still believe that, somebody needs to be over them like that. And it's because in their training, and that's because they install it in the training every day. Even they don't have regular TV. They have all their TV is propaganda on how how their person is so great, and like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's no free thinking in North Korea, like none. If you have a free thought, you better keep it to yourself. You better not talk about it. You can't even talk to other people about it, because other people are like the Agent Smiths in the Matrix, and they will like tell on you because they'll get a reward for telling on you for having free thoughts in North Korea. Like I couldn't even imagine living in that. And that's what throws me off. The people that realize that who don't want to free think, or they get mad at people who want to be free. It's unbelievable that you are in a country where you have the ability to be free. Is in some ways, let me say that, but in other places there's like absolutely zero freedom. So the people who don't like freedom, that's where you should go. You should go to a place like that. Why would you go against freedom? And that's why I say the people who go against freedom are those are basically traitors, because how you gonna go against freedom, and that's what the country is supposed to stand for. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So if not only would you be punished if you did something that they considered the wrong thing to do, it might not even, like, if they consider it the wrong thing to do, not only will they handle you, they'll handle everybody. They'll handle somebody in your family. So and they'll keep it going for generations. Real insanity over there. Yeah. You can't say nothing bad. You say something bad and they're taking you out. And not just you. It's not just you. So don't think that it's just going to be you. Yeah. And the exact reason that they have been is because they continue the propaganda and don't let anything else, they literally shut off from the rest of the world. It's no, all their media is controlled, every part of it. So when they on their phone and they checking the internet for something, it's all of it is programming. So they born into programming, and they have a what is it? They have a I guess you call it a black market for Western, like Western music, anything Western. They have a black market for it. But if you get caught selling it, depending on what it is, it's literally you it's pretty much Western information or entertainment. If you get any of that, you are, and they catch you, not only will you get in trouble, but everybody in that in your circle. Wow. Yeah. But that's how they keep the power. They keep the media going. If they ever let up on that and let the people actually look up and think and have some free thoughts, then all that's over with. Yeah, man. Let's see. Oh, let me show y'all something real quick. After I show y'all this, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. So I wanted to know exactly what a P.2 officer was and what they did and how much they got paid to do what they did. So I went on Zip Recruiter, which the numbers are not too far off. I'm not going to say they 100% accurate, but it's not too far off. So let's go here. While Zip Recruiter is seeing annual sales as high as 100 and salaries as high as 121,000, 100,021.50. And as low as 36.5. The majority of public information officers currently range between 64,000 and 94,000. Top earners make in the 90th percentile make 111,000 annually across the United States. The average pay range of a PIO officer or PIO varies greatly by as much as almost 30,000, which suggests there are many opportunities for advancement and increased pay based on skill level, location, and years of experience. Then they have a list of the top 10 paying cities for these jobs. So the top ones being Maple Valley, Washington, Berkeley, California, Bainbridge Island, Washington, Mount Vernon, Washington, New York City, New York, Renton, Washington, Santa Monica, California, Delhi City, California, Bailey Crosswords. What is that? VA. Is that Vegas? And Sonoma, California. So you got three of those top 10 cities are in California, 4 in Washington, 1 in New York, and 1 in Vegas. I need to know what they do. So for a wide range of sustained positive public images. So their job is to sustain positive public images for brands and other clients. Typical duties are planning publicity strategies and campaigns, writing, production, presentation, articles, press releases, social media posts, designing, project managing the production of the visual communication and digital content. So basically the PIO, this is relations, that's why. Hold on. Wow. So their job is to manage flow of information released to the public. That's what a PIO does. They manage the flow of information released to the public. They act as the company's voice to the public, stakeholders, and other constitutes. They also often work with senior management to convey a positive image of the company towards its community. So when they suggest the PIO, that's not, you're not getting, that don't mean you're getting the whole, that don't mean you're getting the real story behind the city. What you're getting is a crafted image that they're going to give to you. So when they tell me to go to the PIO, they want me to show a crafted image and not just get, you know, the footage that I actually want to get, the everyday what's actually happening. So when I conduct, when I'm exercising my rights, and I guess doing an audit to see if they're going to respect those rights, it would make no sense for me to call ahead of time. Or it wouldn't make sense for me to, tell them what I'm doing and all. Like, why would that make sense? For one, I don't have to. For two, that would defeat the whole purpose. Serves as gatekeeper of information to be shared with the media, gathers information to be released to the public, develop guidelines and procedures for distributing information, provides visual materials and handouts for press releases, organizes meetings and press conferences for major company developments, answers media inquiries. So I'm gonna test that. When I back in the mix of things, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna see if they really answer my question. I'm not gonna go directly and say I want to talk to the PIO. Like I may do an audit and then I'll follow up, and that's where I'm specifically going to see the PIO to see what happened from what they're gonna tell me this city is about versus what I actually experienced. If y'all see where I'm going with that, try to do things in a way that, you know, may get better results. All right, I'm back in the chat now. Hold on. Yeah, Sante. Yeah, that's no. In other places, I'm talking about literally no freedom. Like literally, not. You know, we got so much freedom that, you know, if any one of our freedoms get messed with, imagine having none at all. You wasn't even born into any freedoms. Charlotte, we have a serious threat of losing it. Exactly. That's the issue. Y'all ever think, I know y'all got to, that it's crazy how they always are talking about officer safety, but they are always the safest person in the situation. I didn't even talk about earlier. I said they got their guns, their utility belts, they got a team behind them, and they have bulletproof vests on. How much more safe can you be? And they get to walk around with that all day. How could you be afraid? Hello? Yeah, I just don't understand. How can you be afraid if you got more firepower than everybody else, and you still afraid of the public? But all right, y'all. So I'm wrap this stream up. Remember, the goal is to hit 100 memberships. So if you can help me out with that, yeah, I appreciate it, and it will go to a great cause because I will stand up for the people. But I need the people to support while I do that. A Boris, what is that? This already looked dangerous from the start. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, see, that's actually okay. I see where you at, Sean. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at that. You up in that with a chainsaw? That's bad news all day. You got to be real careful. But again, all right, y'all. AWB, I'm out. I catch y'all on the next one. So I say we know the risk before we take the job. Exactly. Everybody knows the risk.